Okay, Andy, the Ask Andy Show. Today I'm in Orland, Indiana. On May 27th, I'll be in Vicabamba, or May 28th probably, I'll be in Vicabamba, Ecuador. Then in the fall, I'll be in Europe, and starting, I hope, in Bulgaria. Okay, Martin C. Doesn't say where he's, or Martin. His name's not really American, so I think he's from some other country. What's your secret for not getting sick when eating so much street food? Okay, everybody's got it a little backwards. You should always eat street food and never eat tourist food or eat in a restaurant. Bottom line is, the reason why I don't get sick eating street food is because I'm watching it being cooked, and I get to inspect the hands of the chef or person cooking, and I get to see that it's actually been cooked, and often it's right off the grill or right off the burner, right off the stove. I like the mom and pop things where I can actually interview the person cooking, because that's guaranteed that I can actually do a physical inspection. What you'll see in a very large hotel is that you'll have a bunch of, even in America this is a problem, because in a very large hotel they'll have the cheapest labor possible cooking the food, and they don't really, say it's an immigrant from Mexico or Guatemala or something, and they're working in a New York restaurant, and what their idea of sanitation is much different than a 200-year-old American like me. We see sanitation, I see sanitation on a much higher level than some kind of person that at minimum wage that's an immigrant. If I'm in another country, if they're, if they have a restaurant like in Central America, South America, Asia, and somebody's working in the back kitchen, you don't know what they're doing. Okay, and I always say you don't tip for good service, you tip to make sure they don't spit in your food. But bottom line is, if the menu is more than 2 pages, and there's say you counted the number of people in the restaurant, and you could almost say that for every number of people in the restaurant, that's the size of the menu maximum. So there's only 2 people in the restaurant, there should only be 2 pages on the menu, because that means that the food that's in the restaurant, they have enough food in the restaurant to serve that thing. I mean, what the problem is, what they'll do is they'll have a very, very large menu, and they really can't store this food long enough to stay, so it'll get old, right? So if a menu is really big, that means the food in the restaurant could be very old and served up, and a lot of places don't have refrigeration like we do. We think that they're going to bring it out of the freezer, out of the fridge, do this type of stuff and do it. And most countries on the planet, I mean, there's no refrigeration at all, and they're just not going to pay. So they went to the market, they bought the beef, they leave it sitting on the shelf. I was really upset in Africa. They'd make these French fries in the morning. They'd cut up all the potatoes in the morning and leave them sitting around all day long, and then you could buy French fries at night. I really like French fries, but I'm not going to eat French fries that are 8 hours old sitting out all day. Bottom line, you really want to see them process all the food, buy the food, sit there and look at what they're serving at the street food. And generally, most street food, you can almost eat everything local. Any local food, you can almost always eat from street food. When it's the Americanized restaurant, most of the time when I hear somebody got sick by eating the food, or they really feel bad, it was they went into a tourist menu restaurant, and they're trying to serve up food that they don't even know how to cook half the time, and then they're trying to put it together, and they're just trying to make money. It has nothing to do with complete quality food. If you're in doubt, though, walk right into the kitchen and inspect the fridge, inspect the cook, look at the guy's hand or the woman's hand, and do it. And if they won't let you do that, don't eat the food. I mean, that's the bottom line. But you got to do the same thing. It's like an interview. You're going to interview your chef. You might go to one of your neighbor's house and you see crap all over the thing. You don't really want to eat there. It's the same thing in a restaurant. You don't assume that just because you're in a tourist thing, you can't assume ever that the quality and the cleanliness is the same as America. So it's an interview process. You interview, think. Oh, one of the things I did decide is, whatever you do, whenever you walk into a restaurant, try to go, before you order, go into the restroom, or the toilet, as they say in... The Europeans really hate it when I say restroom. Go into the toilet, look at that. And if the toilet's super clean, maybe the restaurant's super clean. But eat street food. Bottom line, I always do. First, you know, any savvy traveler will tell you that you eat street food first, and then you eat the restaurant food after. The only reason I go to a restaurant normally is for camaraderie. I go to a restaurant where all the expats hang out. And if you're looking, you know, usually I'll take a recommendation. I'll never ask a recommendation really of a local person. I'll only recommend a recommendation of another tourist or traveler. And, you know, if you really are keyed in on this, you really have problems, buy a Lonely Planet guidebook or Rough Guides or Let's Go, and they'll sit there and earmark the best places to eat. But street food's always better. Thank you. Martin C. from some country I don't know what.